Between kids, work, and trying to find time as a couple, let alone for yourself, life can often feel all over the place. And oftentimes, for a lot of people, their finances will reflect this. But in today's video, I'm going to share with you the steps that we use to help families and couples gain clarity and confidence with their finances. Although your finances may not be a bad thing, there's typically a lot of opportunities that don't get looked at or don't get talked about because this normally becomes the last thing on their list. I'm Kuyat, a certified financial planner. Let me show you how to get on track. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the Sample family. John and Mary are both 35 years old. Their household income is $250,000 a year, and they have two kids, James, who is 3, and Mila, who is 1. One of the most important things is talking about your financial goals as a couple. There are 4 main goals that the Samples came to us with. The first is to get financially organized so they know where their money is going and where they financially stand. The next is to make sure that they're on track for retirement, able to fund their kids' college entirely, and also update and upgrade their traveling so they can spend more time making memories with their family. So the first thing we want to take a look at is where do they stand financially? Some people go as far as asking, what is my net worth? And although it's a moving target, it's something that we review and we update often. You can see here for John and Mary, we break down their net worth in a few different ways. Like most young couples and people saving for retirement, a lot of their net worth is tied up in their home. However, it's also in the retirement plans. John's 401k has $220,000, while Mary's has $80,000. Together, they have $36,000 put aside in an emergency fund that we had them put in a high yield savings account, and they have $16,000 in their joint checking account. Beyond that, they have $180,000 in a taxable account, as well as $8,000 in their oldest son, James' 529 plan, and $4,000 in Mila's 529 plan. And as mentioned, their home is worth $450,000, but they still owe $266,000 on it. On the surface, they have a positive net worth of $728,000, and while that's a great thing, there are some gaps. As you can see here, there's definitely a need for insurance for both of them, as well as having 2 kids. That's something they may want to consider. And this is something we've also brought up in the plan. One of the next key components that I always talk about is cash flow. Cash flow is king because it helps us understand if you're spending more money than you're making, or if you're making more money than you're spending. A lot of couples like John and Mary bring up to us that they don't know where all of the money goes, and this helps us simply put it in one place. For them, it costs about $140,000 to live. Now, $10,000 a month goes into everyday living expenses, and another $21,496 is going towards housing. Being that we look at everything when it comes to a financial plan, we want to take every dollar into account. So the housing counts for their mortgage, property taxes, as well as any insurances. The next large spend for anybody, as long as you're living legally, is going to be tax payments. You can see for them, it's about $31,000 in federal tax and another almost $20,000 in FICA. Being that they're making more money than they can spend, they can pay themselves. One of the things that we had brought up to them was for John to max out his 401k, which he is doing, and being that that's a traditional 401k, that's reducing their taxable income, so that's going to lower their tax payment while putting more dollars in their pocket. Conversely, for Mary, she has a Roth 401k option. Although that doesn't reduce their taxable income, as long as she follows the right parameters, that's going to grow tax-free and come out tax-free. Paying for college was extremely important to them because they did just get done paying off their student loans, and they didn't want their kids to have to go through the same thing. We recommended opening up 529 plans, and as you can see here, they're putting $12,000 a year into their kids' 529s. One of the things we bring up with a lot of our clients is tax diversification. Now, tax diversification is key. It's often something that gets overlooked. People a lot of times look at what they're invested in and not necessarily where they're invested. However, in John and Mary's case, they're doing a pretty good job of this. As you can see, they have about $180,000 in a taxable account. They also have $220,000 in tax deferred assets, which are going to be, for example, an IRA, or in this case, John's 401k. Lastly, they have also $92,000 in tax-free assets, which in this example will include the 529 plans as well as Mary's Roth 401k. What you'll notice more often than not is that a lot of folks are extremely overweight in their tax-deferred buckets. While it's important and great to plan for retirement, you also have a lot of life to live between now and then. So diversifying where your money is held is extremely key. That's why having something like a taxable account can give you additional liquidity. One of the things that John and Mary said to us is that they love to travel. Not only do they want to travel with their kids now, they want to travel with them when they're older, as well as travel together once they're retired. Now, currently, they're spending about $3,000 a year on one family vacation. However, now that their income has increased a bit, they want to see what it looks like if they spend $10,000 a year on vacation. vacations. Once we do that, the probability of success with their current plan goes from 74% to 69%. However, keep in mind that's one lever, and there's a lot of different variables that can go into place, obviously, between now and the time they retire, which is what this number is based on. I hope this video helped you. If you have more questions, comment them down below.